There's been an armed robbery attack at the Ring Road branch of the Standard Chartered Bank. Eyewitnesses say 2 people have been shot. We will be getting details of the attack from our men who are on the ground shortly. Also, there is a growing concern that the country is gradually going back to darkness.
Then it's over, but at the end of the day, you lose because it's still going on. So I don't think it's over, it's back.
Residents in Accra and especially Kumasi are the hardest hit this time round as they experience erratic power supply for the past 2 weeks.
I've been to areas where, the lights goes off 1 hour, 2 hours, and, there's no explanation to that. And the EC doesn't, give any official, notice to that.
Joy News checks have revealed that the country's power producers are struggling to deal with the major generation problem, largely caused by fuel shortage. So how did the country return to this status after few months of stable power, described by government as the end of Dumsor? Is the crisis indeed over? Or is this a vindication for those who describe the Dumsor over situation by government as a political gimmick? Is Dumsor over? We'll be getting some explanations from experts and also get answers from government on why we're here again. This is today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Joy News is unable to tell the situation of the 2 people who have been attacked at the Standard Chartered robbery incident. Our men are on the ground. Will be trying to get some quick details from them shortly. But we know also that people are harboring fears of a return to Dumsor. We can listen to some members of the public.
I live in Latibekoshi, Sukura. The time that I've been in the house that it went off, it didn't last. It came back, within 5, 10, 20 minutes. I have been to areas where the lights goes off 1 hour, 2 hours, and there's no explanation to that. And the EC doesn't, give any official, notice to that. So I think the ECG should, prior to the lights going off, at least an announcement should be made to that effect, and then people will understand them in that direction.
My light went off at Taifa. When I got home, it was off. So later in the night, it came on again, then it went off again. Then this morning around, I think 3, 4 days, it came back. As and now I'm here, I don't have what do you call it, the necessary information for me to conclude that Dumsor is back.
It's back, certainly. Well, because right now, how things are going, because when it improved, it was really stable. But right now, it just goes off erratic, on and off, anytime, without any warning. And that's very bad because you're not announcing. Here, people are doing business and think the thing is over. But at the end of the day, you lose because it's still going on. So I don't think it's over, it's back.
Well, head of our energy desk, Israel Lai, joins me in the studio for more on this issue. Israel, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Aisha.
Do we know we've gone past the issue of thermal plants not generating this or that? What is our challenge this time around?
The challenge has to do with a number of factors, but primarily has to do with fuel, and then it also has to do with some plants breaking down. Now, this is the issue. We're generating over the past few months, we've been generating just as much as we need to supply or as we demand, as people demand. Now, it means that we don't have any excess or we don't have any allowance, what we call the reserve margin. So once there's no reserve margin, if any of the units that is generating goes down, then it means everybody else, there's going to be a shortfall in supply. Once there's a shortfall in supply, then people will have to go without electricity. Essentially, that's the crux of the matter. Now, what is causing the shortfall in supply, or why are we getting the shortfall? Yes, a number of the plants have gone down. It started off with, the FPSO has had some challenges in recent times. It meant that when the FPSO eventually came back on, it couldn't produce as much gas as it used to before.
Right.
And so it's producing less than capacity. That means that there hasn't been enough gas to go around. But yes, whatever gas has been produced was going to Ameri, which only uses gas to generate electricity. And it turns out that we're told that Ameri itself also went down, or there was a trip in the FPSO, which meant that the gas wasn't going to Ameri, and which meant that we had to have a deficit of about 250 megawatts. That affected the system. We also told that the Boom thermal plant in Tema also went down, and it went down yesterday. And at some point in time, one of the units at Bui also had to be taken off. So there's been a multiplicity of factors. We have idle plants. We have plants that are generating plants that are sitting there, which if they could get fuel, they could generate electricity and we wouldn't be experiencing what we're experiencing now. But it also turns out that the gas that we used to rely on from Nigeria is not coming through anymore. So these are the factors that have accounted for the difficulties we experience.
From your explanation, I sense danger, but hold on, let me speak with Ishmael Aka, who is head of policy unit. I also have Kwame Jantwa, who is also energy lawyer. Let me start with you, Dr. Ishmael Aka, head of energy policy at the Africa Center for Energy Policy. How intense is this challenge we're facing now?
Thank you very much, Asha. I think that it is a very bad situation. As of today, we are generating about 1,753 at peak, and we are demanding around 2,020 megawatts. Now, what it means is that demand is more than supply, and we have to share load at some places. That's the first one. The second one is that we are having challenges. Nigeria was giving us less than what we wanted. We signed an agreement for about 123 million cubic feet. But what we were getting was used at a struggle to produce only about 40 since last 2 weeks. As of today, Nigeria may be shutting down gas supply to Ghana. And if we don't take care, as well, we have to even start the 40 they give us from tomorrow. Already, Senate is down at off-peak time. We is down at off-peak. We operate only one turbine during peak time. The other plants like TC1PP, the Pontema plant. So if we don't take care, by tomorrow we'll be losing more than 300 megawatts. And that means that we are getting back to Dumsor.
Dr. Aka, let me speak with Mr. Jantwa, who is an energy lawyer. Good evening to you, Mr. Kwame Jantwa.
Good evening.
How bad is this situation?
Hello.
Mr. Jantwa, you're on today's big story, and I'm asking, how bad is our situation currently?
Well, it was anticipated, wasn't it? I remember the day the producers, the distributor and the power producer and the minister had a meeting with regards to when they were claiming the end of Dumsor. The gentleman from the I've forgotten the people who distributed, they indicated that we did not have a reserve margin, and if it so happened that any of the plants malfunction, then we are back into Dumsor. And I think that is what we're experiencing now. But some of us from the word go have indicated that when the president did the State of the Nation's address and he mentioned all the plants that were coming in addition, some of us thought that he should have mentioned that they had acquired or they had got some money, some huge amount of money on standby, so that if anything went wrong, we could procure crude. At the present moment, it looks as if we don't have the money to procure the crude. And as such, we are in a very precarious situation of going back into Dumsor. So now, Tor is now producing. How do we now market Tor or bring Tor into the face of this situation? Can Boss buy crude and get Tor to refine it or Tor to do it to the standard that the generation plants can take, so that at least we can have some crude in some of the plants that need crude to run? It is something we should look at. But, you know, for me, the most important thing is to sit down. I think from the time Dumsor started, we haven't actually sit down to put an energy plan together. That is number one, because that energy plan will open up those deficiencies that we need to block. We seem to be doing it on an ad hoc basis. One day we are in, the next day we are out. One day we are in, the next day we are out. And it does not help the economy in any way, because businesses are going to suffer from this latest situation that we find ourselves in.
Well, many thanks to you. Kwame Jantwa is CEO of Africa Energy Consortium Limited. Israel, from your sources, do we know when we're going to get over from this?
Well, it's not very clear. I mean, until we're able to have a comfortable reserve margin, we are likely to be experiencing these things as and when they come up. If any plant goes down, as Dr. Aka was saying, Ishmael Aka was saying, if any plant goes down without the reserve margin, clearly some load has to be shared, and it just essentially means that some people will have to go without electricity.
Well, many thanks to you, Israel, for your time on today's big story. Dr. Ishmael Aka, we are not sure how long this will take, but from where you sit, how long should we expect this?
Well, we are looking at, it depends on what we do, though. For now, I think the immediate step we have to take is to go and pay what we owe Nigeria. Senate is complaining that ECG owes them and they are not getting money to buy fuel. So I think as quickly as possible we should finish. If we are able to do this, I think we shouldn't go beyond a week. But if we are not, then we should expect this for not less than a month. I think ECG may have to come out with a timetable to regulate this. But if we take immediate steps, but I think in the long term we have to have a sustainable fuel strategy. I mean, we keep on buying machines and machines. The machines need fuel to turn, to produce power. So we should have, where are we getting the fuel? What are the sources of finance? Let's secure them, and I think some of these things will not occur. And we should have available, when we say excess capacity, it shouldn't be just a machine. It should be available machine, available capacity. So when we put oil in, the project starts generating. I think these are some of the things we should be looking at in the medium to long term.
I remember, well, okay, you're still on air.
Yes, fortunately, the president introduced, in fact, they introduced some energy debt recovery levy. And we thought that some of these would have been used at least to clear what we owe Nigeria, even if possible, set up a certain fund to support our utility companies to get fuel, so that even if we don't budget for them, we have some secure funding for them in case of some of these issues. Unfortunately, we don't know how much we've gotten us at now. We don't even know how much we owe Nigeria and how much we paid. And that is very bad, especially when consumers are going to bear the cost of some of these indecisions.
I remember some of you cautioned that indeed the right word was an improvement in the crisis and not a total end to Dumsor. Do you feel vindicated?
Well, I mean, that is right, but we feel that we do research and we come out and we hope they will listen to us and at least we all be happy, develop Ghana together. So that is what we said, and we still maintain by that until we have available reserve margin of about 25%, we have a sustainable fuel strategy, we have some fuel stock, we can never say that Dumsor is over. And I think that is where we should be working towards. There was improvement. Unfortunately, we started celebrating so early that we forgot to maintain the little improvement, and I think we are reversing. As I said, demand today is around 2,020 megawatts. Supply is 1,753. If we don't take care, we'll be reducing to about 1,000 in no time, and that may be very bad for the economy.
We're talking about the FPSO problem, and we know it's been on and off, and we're told today that it's been resolved. Has that really been resolved, and is that all it takes to resolve our crisis?
Well, the FPSO tripped on Saturday again, and I think there was a time it said called for a total independent audit of the FPSO because it was becoming quite unusual. Almost every time that it trips, and when it trips, it affects our gas supply. But I think it is working now, and it is supplying gas to America. So America is working fully. The challenges we are having are one with Akosombo. The minimum water level we can operate at Akosombo is 240. Fortunately, the water level today is 236. Bui is so low that at off-peak we have to off-the whole turbine. Peak demand time we have to only on one. Asogli is supposed to give us 180 when Nigeria is giving us gas. Unfortunately, they were giving us only 40. And as I said, Nigeria is going to cut gas supply to Ghana this night. So what it means is that even that 40, we are going to lose it. So when you add all these things, the FPSO may be a challenge. But I think the challenge is one with Nigeria gas, which serves the Tema English, and oil for Senate and the TP1 PP to use, which I think is also not there. And they don't have money to go and buy because DRA does not have the money, and Senate says ECG owes them. So because of that, they also don't have. ECG should pay them to go and buy. ECG does not have the money, and so government owes them. So that trend also comes again. So I think we should look at it. Fuel and financial issue, I think we can deal with it.
Dr. Ishmael, there are fears that we're going back to the days of darkness. Are we going back?
We are already in. In fact, Malam and Kumasi, some other places, Dome, Medina, experienced some form of load shedding over the weekend, from Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and even early today. We've been told that now the minister has ordered that we are having a deficit of about 250 megawatts, and that should be distributed across the region. So what it means is that we will experience some intermittent power supply, but it may be better than last year. But what we are saying is that let us work towards solving it and building reserve margin, getting fuel for our plants. And this one can be just a temporary issue. It may not be like what we went through, but we are already in the darkness.
Well, many thanks to Dr. Ishmael Aka. He's head of policy unit at ASEP. We can now talk about a distasteful armed robbery attack at the Ring Road branch of the Stanchart. We have on the line an eyewitness, Peter Boateng, who actually saw what exactly happened. Good evening to you, Peter. What really happened? Well, our man Latif is also on the line. We lost the eyewitness. We'll try and get him back. Latif is with the police command. He'll tell us what's happening there. Hello, Latif. Hello, Latif.
Hello, Aisha.
Latif, tell us more. What have you been gathering from the police?
Yeah, Aisha, I'm currently standing at the entrance of the Accra Regional Police Headquarters, where a short while ago, about 30 to 45 minutes ago, the suspect was brought in here at the headquarters. The police managed to pick up a bit of information from him. And looking at his condition, he's in a bit of a critical condition. So the police didn't waste time at all. They just picked one or two information. And as we speak, the suspect has been sent to the police hospital where he will be treated for further questioning, Aisha.
Has he been given charges yet? What charges?
Not yet. Like I said earlier, you know, is in a bit of a critical condition. I observed him briefly. The guy has been shot. He was shot from the back through his ribs, and he was bleeding as he was brought in here, lying at the back of the police pickup truck. So the police, when they looked at his condition, they couldn't waste much time trying to get information. They only got 1-2 information from him, and then they let the driver is taken away. Now, I also tried getting close, but then the police wouldn't allow anybody to get close to this guy who is in pain as we speak, Aisha.
Latif, I'll have you hold. Let me speak with an eyewitness who was there when it happened. Good evening to you, Peter Boateng. Tell us what really happened. Hello, Peter. You're on today's big story, and I'm asking how the armed robbery attack happened.
Hello.
Peter, what did you see?
This afternoon, around 4:50, I was in a bullion van going to industrial area. So around TUC, there's a First Atlantic Bank opposite TUC. We saw a gunshot, pow, pow, pow. Two guys were there. One was shooting the other. And then we saw the guy who is shooting the other one carry some bag with money, and then they step on the motor running. So there was a policeman in our bullion van. He quickly get down and then shoot the guy from the back, the arm over from the back, and then he shoot the leg. So he fall down with the money, and the one who was riding the motorbike ran away with the motorbike. So we retrieved the money, and then we brought the arm robber, one of the arm robbers, the one that was shooted, to the central police station.
But you talked about some shooting. How many people? You said 2 people were shot?
Yes, the one who came to withdraw the money was shot by the arm robber, and the arm robber was it was a gunfight between the arm robber and the policeman. The arm robber was making an attempt to shoot the policeman, but the policeman by profession was fast to shoot him first. So when he shot him first, his gun fell down. He was using that shotgun, the shotgun. So he fell down, and the policeman shot him again, and then he fell down from the motor with the money.
So do we know the condition of the victims of this shooting, apart from the armed robber?
The one who came to withdraw the money was shot by the thighs and the legs. He was shot 4 times. I was there. He was shot 4 times.
So do you know where he is now?
No, he was carried immediately. He was carried away to the hospital. I don't know the hospital he is now, because we followed the armed robber to the police station, and the central police station.
We need some clarification. I heard you talk about First Atlantic Bank, and we also have been told the stand chart. Where did it happen?
No, it's not stand chart. The First Atlantic Bank is behind. The First Atlantic Bank is behind the stand chart.
Okay, so it actually happened on the premises of First Atlantic Bank.
At the entrance of the First Atlantic Bank, at the entrance, the gate there. The ladies who were selling around the traffic lights said they saw those 2 armed robbers standing there for a long time, but they didn't know they were armed robbers. They saw those 2 guys with the motorbike standing at the gate. They were packed around the gate, they're waiting.
So what was the immediate reaction of the bank authorities?
The bank authority, in actual fact, we were concentrating on the armed robbers. So we didn't, go to the bank, inside the bank, or to get what the bank is doing. But we were concentrating on the armed robbers.
Certainly, they didn't enter the bank. It just happened at the entrance.
No, they didn't enter the bank. Their motorbikes were parked at the entrance of the gate.
And it looks like they were targeting a particular person.
Sorry?
They were targeting a particular person who had gone to withdraw money.
Yes, they were targeting a particular person who came to withdraw the money.
Well, many thanks to Peter Boateng for the update. Latif Idris is still on the other line. Latif, do we know what has happened to this victim of shooting?
Not yet, Aisha. I just finished speaking with ACP Bonga, who is now acting as the regional, commander. He told me now the case has now got into his office. He will now sit down and get in touch with the various individuals who are concerned. And so for now, the police is not even brief enough to brief, the press, if you like. He's promised to do that come tomorrow. So for now, all we know is that this guy, who has been shot through the ribs, bleeding profusely, has now been taken to the police hospital where he is going to receive treatment, and then the police can get him to give them more details come tomorrow. That is if he is gained full consciousness, Aisha.
Well, many thanks to you, Latif, for the update on the ground. We have Justice Baidu, also our man on the scene, who is at the scene right now. I've been trying to get him, but when we get him, he will also tell us what exactly is happening at the bank premises now. I'm sure now fear has gripped a lot of people around there because of this incident. We've also been trying to get some reaction from authorities at the bank. We'll be getting all of that pretty soon on today's big story. We take a break. We'll be back shortly. If you just joined us, it's today's big story. We've been talking two issues: armed robbery attack at First Atlantic Bank and our energy crisis that is gradually getting worse, and the fear that the country will soon be thrown into darkness. Of course, we heard from some energy experts who say that if we don't take care, we may go back to darkness. In fact, one of them says we are already in darkness, and that's pretty alarming. Our men on the ground also have told us about how the police is handling the armed robber who shot one person who's injured and who is also at the hospital. Now, I've been trying to get some reaction from authorities of the bank. We are not getting that. We'll try and get that on our subsequent bulletin. Joy News Prime, and this is today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Good evening.